anyway, I decided to go live, and I'm gonna do like a little mini mukbang. I'm having mukbang. I want to say it wrong. Mukbang. So anyway, I'm eating 2 vegetable egg rolls that I got at the Dollar Tree. I have some potatoes too that I could heat up. I eat them with a knife and a fork. So anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about why I like TikTok and YouTube more than Facebook. So I have been on Facebook for many years, but have I really loved Facebook? Not really. I mean, I don't know. So I joined Facebook a long time ago. I think like originally I did have an account like the first time in 2008. And I remember back when more people were starting to join Facebook than MySpace, because at the time when I joined Facebook, I just thought it was so boring and bland because it just has this plain background. And I liked how MySpace was more colorful and aesthetic, and you could put videos on there, but I didn't really super love either. And my motivation for actually wanting to use YouTube was different than a lot of people. Like a lot of people, they use Facebook like to post pictures of like, I don't know, parties they go to or their family and things like that. But I've been a blogger for years, and more recently I became a YouTuber. So I would like want to share things that I created there. That was kind of my interest. I wasn't as fascinated with Facebook. And then I just noticed like a lot of the people that I had as connections on Facebook, they never really seemed like super interested in things that I was posting on Facebook, even if I would post them. And the only time you would really get views on Facebook is like if you post a picture, like, I don't know, of family and friends. And I just began to feel like Facebook is a very social thing. It's like for people that want to be connected with people that they knew in some capacity, like from school, work, life. And it's not that I don't want to talk to people, because I do talk to a lot of people. But honestly, like the people that I'm the closest with, I talk to them like on email or text message. Like the people that I feel like really super close to, I'm not the kind of person that wants to, go to a family reunion or like I don't know, like a high school reunion, college reunion. And I just noticed like Facebook really pushes out people posting pictures of their kids. And I feel like if you're like a single person and you don't post a lot of pictures of your kids, like I just don't really feel like there's a lot of things that you can post on that platform, to be honest with you. Some businesses do well, but you pretty much have to buy ads. Whereas YouTube, I really like, and TikTok, I really like, because you post something that you're interested in, and people that have like similar interests to you, like they interact with your content. And TikTok's feed, like I have a good TikTok feed. I know some people, like older people, because they've been watching a lot of the news telling them, oh, TikTok's a spy app and TikTok's bad. But here's the thing. I feel like people forgot that Facebook also spied on people too. And I feel that this is just my thought on it. Even though the congressional hearings demonstrated that all the TikTok US info was housed domestically, that didn't matter. I feel like at the end of the day, what it was that the big guys like YouTube, Google, Meta, Facebook, and maybe Elon Musk too, they saw TikTok as a threat because TikTok did something better than what Facebook did. Like you can scroll the feed and you can find interesting videos. And I just find a lot of generational divide. Like there are a lot of like savvy, like tech savvy people on TikTok, but older people that are like my parents' age that are on TikTok, they're very tech savvy. They know how to use their phone. They know how to interact with computers and social media. Whereas people that are like my parents' age or my age on Facebook, they seem to not like TikTok just because somebody told them TikTok was bad. And honestly, TikTok's not bad. Like TikTok, like the feed of TikTok is tailored to whatever you're interested in. And I think that's what I really like about TikTok. And then some people are like, but social media is addictive. And if you look at it too much, you'll be sucked in. But I think that's a personal control issue, not social media's problem. Because I've seen people addicted to watching television. Like I've seen people like binge watch television, but that's okay. But for some reason, like social media is the culprit. But I just don't think TikTok's as bad as people think. And I kind of wanted to share some videos about it or like articles. I don't know right now. A lot of I don't agree with Trump acting like he's the savior of TikTok. I mean, I just don't think that's true. I don't believe this at all. Okay. The US government once again wants to ban TikTok. The app has become an inconvertible force in American phones on American phones since it launched in 2016, defining the sounds and sights of the pandemic era culture. Because it's kind of true. Like, look, I worked through the pandemic, but the pandemic, I don't know, it was fun because that's when I first started using TikTok, and it was just fun because that's when I started connecting with different people that were interested in long hair or just learning things about Syria. Like there's all sorts of cool and interesting content that I personally find on TikTok. TikTok's burst on the scene also represented a first for American consumer and officials. a popular social media app that wasn't started in Silicon Valley soil, but in China. And I feel like that's kind of probably why people see TikTok as a threat. I know some people like because it's from China, but I feel like a lot of it is, because it's not from the Silicon Valley. On March 13th, the U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill to force TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, to sell TikTok, or else the app will be banned on American phones. This is an old article, actually, so I'm going to stop sharing this one. Okay, let's see. Some of these articles are older. I'm trying to find a newer article. Maybe I'll just type in TikTok and see what they're talking about. Okay, here's an article that I'm going to share because it might just be interesting to like read this together, in my opinion. TikTok. I just think that this might be interesting to read together. A TikTok ban looms. Creators say that they'll believe it when they see it. Status quo videos still proliferate on the Chinese-owned app, and Madison Avenue remains upbeat just weeks before the potential U.S. ban. Sarah Pearl is adamant that TikTok is not going to be banned, and you have to, unfortunately, pay for that one. I'm not going to pay to read the Wall Street Journal. No thanks. All right. Let's see what else is going on about TikTok in the news. Not paying the Wall Street. Okay. No, you have to pay to read that one too. It's getting silly. Well, we can read this and just see what, like, why they, like, what's the news about TikTok? Like, why, what's going on today at the TikTok land, in the TikTok land? DOJ urges Supreme Court to reject Trump request to delay TikTok ban law. U.S. Department of Justice asked the Supreme Court late on Friday to reject President-elect Trump's request to delay the implementation of a law that would ban popular social media app TikTok or force its sale by January 19th. Last week, Trump filed a legal brief arguing that he should have time after taking office on January 20th to pursue political resolution to the issue. The court is set to hear arguments in the case on January 10th. The law passed in April requires TikTok's Chinese owner ByteDance to divest the platform's U.S. assets or face a ban. TikTok did not immediately comment. The DOJ said that in its filing that Trump's request could only be granted if ByteDance had established it was likely to succeed on the merits, but the company had not done so. DOJ said no one disputes China seeks to undermine U.S. interests by amassing sensitive data on Americans and engaging in covert malign influence operations. I mean, but other social media platforms don't do that. I don't know. The government asserted that no one can seriously dispute that China's control of TikTok through ByteDance represents a grave threat to national security. But we've had TikTok for years. Like we've had it since 2020. And it's been going off the charts. I don't know like why now. I still see it more as like it's a competitive thing. I feel like it's YouTube and Facebook, Meta, Instagram. Like they see it as a competition, and they don't want competition. That's the way I view it. TikTok's collection of reams of sensitive data about 170 million Americans and their contacts make it a powerful tool for espionage. Trump's lawyer John Sawyer wrote last week that President-elect respectfully requests that the court consider saying that the act's deadline for divestment on January 19th. But you know what's interesting? During the congressional hearings for TikTok here in the U.S., the U.S. owner of TikTok said that U.S. data is stored on U.S. servers. And I don't... Okay, we need to find something about this. Okay, so you can believe this or not believe it, give or take. Where does TikTok store US user data? New protected US user data is stored by default in the Oracle Cloud and the USDS infrastructures with controlled and monitored gateways. Once deletion of backup data is complete, a process currently underway, only approved USDS personnel have access to protected US user data in the Oracle Cloud. All business functions that require access protected US user data will be part of USDS. So you don't have to believe that, but there was an entire congressional hearing where the US owner of TikTok said US data is stored on US servers. So you can say, oh, they're lying, but Facebook also had data breaches. I don't know why all of a sudden, like why is it now? Like, why is it all of a sudden now? And also, I don't really believe Trump either, because he wanted to ban it years ago. And he got upset because a lot of young people use TikTok to buy tickets to one of his, rallies. And then it was an empty venue when you weren't even supposed to be gathering during like the depth of COVID. So, but now he's like, oh, I'm the savior of the TikToks. I'm like, I think what it is at the end of the day, this is just my 2 cents. Facebook has become a little bit obsolete. I know some people are going to like go hard on Facebook. Like Facebook is great, but I just find more and more, I don't really have a reason to go to Facebook. And I'm not trying to bag on Facebook and hate on Facebook. But when you go to Facebook, like I said, basically, I feel like unless you're somebody with kids or like you're very social and you have like really close connections with like people you went to school with, or like, I don't know, you're just a really social person, like Facebook just doesn't really feel that cozy. And I actually, I know it might sound funny, like social media, but I like cozy content. And I like content like with people who share my interests, like introverted people that want to talk about, I don't know, books or hair or things that I find interesting. And you find that on the TikTok feed. And I don't find that necessarily on Facebook. Like, not that I'm keeping Facebook for a while, but Facebook and Twitter just didn't have a very good organic search feed either. Like you can go onto TikTok and even YouTube does this better. But I'm going to argue that YouTube wanted to compete with TikTok because TikTok, the one thing that they did very well was the feed knows you. Like it tailors videos to you. The feed really, really knows you. And I really like that and I embrace it. And another thing too that I find so problematic and sad is that so many US lawmakers are okay with doing away with TikTok, even though it's really going to hurt the economy. Like they don't care that a lot of people make money on TikTok. They don't care that a lot of businesses have a presence on TikTok. They don't care about that. Like they just want to get rid of it because they're like, oh, it's bad. But who are they beholding to? Like what lobby? Like this is still my question at the end of the day. Is it the Meta lobby? Is it the Google lobby? Like what lobby is it that wants to get rid of TikTok? Like why? I mean, that's kind of like what it looks like to me. Really, like because TikTok, like if it was such a threat, why didn't they shut it down like 4 or 5 years ago? Like why now? That's a good question in my mind. So I want to share another article. The US TikTok ban is getting closer. What does it mean for brands and for creators? TikTok's attempt to overrun its US ban was rejected, prompting renewed angst over the app's future. Guess it's not going to, can't share that. I'm going to find an article where a lot of these are paid. You have to pay. Okay, here's a better one. Hopefully it's NPR. So many articles nowadays you have to pay to share. I'm just like, I'm not paying to read an article, friends. Possible TikTok ban could be an extinction level event for the creator economy. Content creators are watching the clock. TikTok will be banned in the US in less than a year unless its owner, ByteDance, sells the company or the law signed by President Biden last month is blocked by courts. Anxiety is coursing through the creator economy, which includes tens of thousands of people who earn a living by making videos on TikTok, an app that has become a prime place for advertisers to reach younger audiences. And yeah, younger people do like TikTok, but there's older people who like it too, and older people might like Facebook, but I don't know why everything became so generational and so bickering. I hate that. Taken together, content creators have become a formidable economic force. Goldman Sachs estimates that the creator economy is a 250 billion industry and is expected to double by 2027. Some creators on TikToks make side money by hawking products on the app's TikTok shops. Others produce sponsored videos with brands and retailers and marketing agencies. Sometimes the corporate sponsorship is barely noticeable, with TikTokers recording low-budget, direct-to-screen videos that appear at first glance just to be the rest of their output, except it is for generating serious money. From pandemic boredom to hit influencer career. For some, the hustle on the hit video app has become a new career, but not everyone embraces the usual title for this internet profession. I know people have a negative connotation to influencers, and I totally understand that, but there's some kind of fell into this But there's some of us who kind of fell into this by mistake. And this is our job now, said Lauren Ashley Beck, 34, who lives in Los Angeles. Besides, once being a contestant on a television show, Survivor, Beck has a familiar story. I got bored during the pandemic, so she downloaded TikTok, posting selfies and my food just like everybody else, she said. Eventually, she found her sweet spot, doing reviews of reality TV shows. It blew up almost overnight and continued growing. These days, she has marketing deals with HBO, Hulu, and Amazon. Those are the people that come to me like, hey, can you talk about our shows? And then I build a community talking about these shows, Beck said. Talking about television in her more than 500,000 TikTok followers is now her largest source of income. I've dubbed myself the Queen of Stream, she said. The Queen of Stream's cash has helped her get caught up with her student loans and allowed her to buy a Barbie pink Ford Bronco. So at the end of the day, I know a lot of people are like, oh, but we really, really, really hate TikTok. TikTok is so bad. But there are people that are making money on TikTok. So if you ban the app, it is going to hurt people. It is going to hurt part of the creator economy. It's going to hurt part of the US economy. I'm going to find another one. Okay, here's another one that I'm going to share. TikTok says ban would cost U.S. small business creators $1.3 billion in the first month. TikTok warned that the U.S. small businesses and social media creators would lose $1.3 billion in revenue and earnings in just 1 month if the popular app is effectively shut down in the United States on January 19th. And you know what this kind of reminds me of? This kind of reminds me of like Google Panda, like when they updated the Google app, and a lot of small businesses were finding it harder to have their little businesses found. And then bigger businesses were benefiting from like Google updates. And I feel, and if you know a little bit about TikTok, a lot of smaller businesses have benefited from having a TikTok presence. And a lot of people just are throwing around, oh, it's a spy app and it's a national security threat, but they don't care that banning TikTok could hurt these little businesses. It's not going to hurt Walmart. It's not going to hurt Target. It's going to hurt like a small creator. Like there's people that sell soap or hairbrushes or all sorts of things on there. A law targeting national security concerns about TikTok's parent company, Chinese-based ByteDance, gives it until January to sell TikTok. But why now? That's my question. Why now? TikTok and ByteDance plan to ask the U.S. Supreme Court to block the law, which they didn't because it went through. And they are hoping that President-elect Trump could choose not to enforce it. Well, now Trump has like seen the light and he loves TikTok, but he hated TikTok before. So I don't know. A lot of this is divide and conquer politics. TikTok, in a court filing Monday, warned the U.S. small businesses and social media creators would lose $1.3 billion in revenue and earnings in just 1 month if the popular app is effectively shut down. So I know a lot of people love Facebook, but these small businesses were not thriving on Facebook. Like Facebook doesn't have the same like presence. Like they want you to buy ads. And I bought ads before on Facebook and they didn't help my blogs at all. It just, I don't know. Facebook just has a very clunky interface. Like, of course people like TikTok. Why? Because guess what? Meta, Facebook, copy TikToks. Like now they have Reels. That's a copycat of what like Instagram / Facebook / Meta copied, plagiarized the TikToks. Because if the TikTok like format is so bad, why are you seeing Reels on Facebook? Think about it. Those numbers would only increase if the shutdown extends for more than a month, says Blake Shanley, president of Global Business Solutions for TikTok, in that court filing. Shanley's declaration came as his company asked a federal appeals court to temporarily block a law that would require app stores operated by Apple and Google and the internet providers to stop supporting TikTok on January 19th unless its parent company ByteDance sells the app. TikTok and ByteDance plan to ask the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn, but it's not looking good. I heard something else too, like, I'm not a fan of the Elon Muskie, but I heard something about how Elon Musk might buy TikTok. I read something about that. We should. Okay, I don't know. This is just like a prediction. Like, you can't even read it. You have to subscribe. Well, I don't know. This sounds kind of like urban legend. I don't really think Elon Musk is talking about buying TikTok. That sounds like a lot of people are speculating he should buy it, but he probably won't. I don't know. So what's probably going to happen on January 19th? It looks like they might ban TikTok. And maybe that's another reason I was feeling kind of like, oh, like Facebook just feels so clunky. And like I said, Facebook just feels like it's a big social group. Whereas I feel like I like to talk to people, but I love to talk to people that share my interests and passions about life. And I don't really feel like necessarily people who friended me on Facebook feel that way. Like, I feel like a lot of people that knew me from school or people that just might have been connected with me in Hub Pages, I don't think like they were following like things that I'm posting all the time. Like, I didn't get that vibe. And I like it when I post something on YouTube and on TikTok because I feel like it's pushed out to people who are interested a little bit more. But that's just my feeling on this whole topic. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a good night.